I think the bike community needs to be educated on that more money and more power doesn't mean a more fun motorcycle. The advantage of it is it got a lot of people into motorcycles. Because this is the most powerful motorcycle, it captures people. I don't get why people got offended that I announced I'm selling it, but I figured today I'd go shopping for a replacement for the H2.
So this is my first contender. This is a Triumph Rocket 3. This motorcycle is a muscle cruiser, which is a bike I've never owned before. This is literally a motorcycle that would blow the socks off of a Harley rider. That is literally the size of the engine right there. This engine is 250% the size of the H2's. It's a 2,500cc or 2.5 liter motor. Notably, compared to the bikes that I usually own, this has a drive shaft as opposed to a chain drive. The really annoying thing about chain drive motorcycles is you have to maintain them every 300 to 500 miles. With the drive shaft, it's like a car where you really don't have to do anything. It's a style of bike that I've never owned before, so I'm not really sure what to think. Next up, this is a Ninja 500, and I know what you're thinking. I know it's a beginner bike, and I know that people are gonna have some strong opinions about this, but hear me out. I've actually heavily considered doing a beginner bike series, mainly because I think that people are way too harsh on the beginner bikes. There's a lot of really bad advice on the internet where people are like, you should start on a 600, you should start on a 650, where I think a lot of people just completely misunderstand these bikes and think that they're just basically mopeds with fairings on it. Where speaking as someone who's had one of these bikes on track, these things can be a weapon in the right hand. So another potential replacement for the H2 is actually going to be a speed triple. To me, this is very similar to like the Rocket over there. This is basically a sport bike without the fairings. Now, this bike is a little bit polarizing just because of the looks, but to me, I think this bike looks very nice. But what is not very nice is the price tag on these bikes. I think this bike costs a little bit more than that Rocket over there. It's a little ridiculous for what it is, but you do get a very nice suede seat. I also just realized that this wiggles on a $20,000 sport bike. Come on, Triumph. The last bike I wanted to talk about is actually the ZX-10 RR. This one is marked down over $5 grand, but unfortunately, this is still a $25,000 motorcycle. And Kawasaki just announced a new one for next year. I have a hard time justifying a brand new 1000cc motorcycle. I feel like in a lot of ways, 1000cc bikes are a really easy way to get yourself hurt. And while yes, something like this would be much more tame compared to the H2, it still is a lot of money for a motorcycle that would likely just sit in my garage, kind of like the H2.
Obviously, none of these bikes are as interesting or as weird as an H2, but I just want people to realize that there are other motorcycles out there that might ride better than a 250 horsepower monster. If you guys still disagree with my decision, let me know, but I think I'm going to continue my shop.